let's say that I decide I want to put a deck in, and then I'm going to also put a pergola in, and I'm not going to get a pool, but I got a hot tub. Do I
Yeah.
need to call my insurance agent? And if I were to call you, what would you say when I told you I have got a deck and a pergola and a hot tub? Do we need to do anything about those? What would you tell me?
Yeah, so for all your homeowner's policy has built-in layers of coverage for, things like that automatically. And so if it's under a certain threshold, then generally you don't have to make any changes. Now, if you live on some land, you've got your primary home we're insuring, and then you build like a guest house that is significant value, that's when you would want to make sure, hey, that needs to be protected. But a deck, other structures generally as part of your policy, it's covering up to a certain amount. If it falls under the limit, then there's no change to be made. I get the question all the time, like I mentioned earlier about the pool. I'll have somebody who buys a house and then, a year later they install a pool and they'll call and say, hey, we just put in a pool. We need to update the policy. Well, in general, like the pool itself is already part of the policy. We can update the reconstruction costs to account for it. But most of the claims that occur with pools are that liability that I talked about. And so what we need to do at that point is update your policy. If we don't have an umbrella, now's the time to buy one. So those are the conversations that we're always having. But if it's something small and something, not super expensive, then generally your policy has certain layers of protection to cover that already. When it gets above a certain amount, then we actually need to update the policy.
Okay, good, good. Now I feel better about it already.
Yeah.